Hey guys, it is day 6 of VEDIN, video every day in November, and it is the third and final day of my near-death experiences, until I get some more. I'm excited today because this is definitely the most dramatic of the experiences. It actually happened first before all these, and before I jump into it, I wanted to give a shout out to my mama, because she's had to deal with this kind of thing my entire life. You got a kind of a glimpse of it over the past couple of days with the kind of shenanigans that I've gotten myself into, that she's then had to worry about, not only during, but consistently, like, is he going to get into this again? And this has always been a thing. To demonstrate that, I've got a mini story really quick. This was when I was like 2 years old. I barely remember this. I think this is my earliest memory, is just a piece of this. We had a countertop that was about this high, about this high, and a dishwasher across from it, about that far away from it, that was this high. This high. Yeah, somewhere around there. Little 2-year-old me climbed up onto the counter, and seeing this, figured, I can make that. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, I have like one memory from this. Apparently, I stood there and I jumped. I didn't even come close, like not even sort of. I came and I came down on the counter and like bit my tongue and had to get stitches in my tongue and just boom, boom, boom. My dad was working in the basement at the time. He has owned his own business my whole life, and he was like, "Danny!" and sprinted up. Just because that was what happened. It wasn't a hammer dropping, it was me for sure. This is what it always was, what it always has been. This goes out to my mama. Thank you so much for keeping me alive this entire time, for keeping your cool when I did my best to thwart those efforts. Today's experience happened, had to be 15 or 16, so 6 or 7 years ago. What happened was, as a scout group, we decided that our entire group was going to go mountain biking up at Sundance, which is a ski resort. It was the middle of the summer, and we're going mountain biking, and what we would do is we would ride the ski lift up. We'd hook our bikes to the ski lift, and then ride it up to the top, and then take our bikes and ride down. And I found out that I hate mountain biking. Like, with a burning passion to hate. I white-knuckled all the way down my brakes the entire way down the mountain, thinking I was going to die the whole time. I popped my tire halfway through and had to ride down with a busted tire. I hated it. It was terrible. Other kids were good at it and they liked it, and that's fine. Like, you can like mountain biking. I won't hold it against you. I don't think I'll ever like it. It was really pretty out, and I'd ridden once and I was like, I'm not doing that again. But I wanted to ride the lift again, just to, see the scenery and stuff. I hopped on the lift with a friend to go up again, and I was just going to ride the lift around just because it was really pretty outside. We're riding up, and there's this point about halfway through the lift where you could just step off the lift, but the sign said you probably shouldn't. As we were coming close to this part, I saw that someone had carelessly discarded a hat. It was like this brown-looking hat. It looked cool from the top, so naturally, seeing the hat, I lifted the bar and jumped off and grabbed it. As I was pulling myself back onto the lift jerked, and I slipped, and was then hanging like this. So the chair was here, and I was holding onto the bars. At this point, admittedly, I should have just dropped, because I was like 10-15 feet off the ground. I figured, though, that with my masculine and toned biceps, I could easily pull myself back on the lift and I would be fine. What I didn't realize is that ski lifts tilt like this. When you're pulling, it's not pulling like this, it's pulling like this. By the time I realized that I couldn't get myself back on, we were pushing 40, 50, 60 feet. I'm pretty sure we were 70 feet up at one point. The terrain was just dropping. Now, I'm very bad at judging distance. It seemed higher than that. Flashback, before this, me and my buddy Dylan had ridden the lift the first time. We were talking about, if you were to fall off of this ski lift, hypothetically, where would be the best place to fall? So we talked about it for a while and determined the lift goes to the point where you can step off, and then it drops to the 70-foot drop, and then it comes up very steep to a spot where it's 15-20 feet off the ground. We figured if you were going to fall off of the lift, if by chance you were dangling off the lift, if you had held onto there, you'd be alright, because that's not that far a drop. That being said, I'm dangling off the lift, and that's the best spot to go, so I'm holding on for there. Now, I've been holding on, I don't know how long. It felt like 10-15 minutes. It's a hot summer day, my hands are getting clammy. We get about halfway up this steep hill, we're about 30-40 feet off the ground. All of a sudden, the lift stops and jerks. and starts again, and I slipped and I fell. There were people on the lift in front of me, some of the other guys in my scout troop, and they counted as soon as I fell how many seconds, and it was 4, almost 5 seconds that I was in the air. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I hit and bounced. Now, from my perspective, I don't think that I have ever been more scared in my life. Actually, I know that I have never been more scared in my life than I was when I was dangling off of this ski lift, praying like there's no tomorrow, because there actually might not have been a tomorrow. I'm here hanging and never been more scared in my life, super tense and everything, and as soon as I slipped and fell, I felt just this incredible serenity, like this peace. And as I fell down, I remember the whole thing going down. The interesting thing is I never blacked out. But right as I came close to the ground, everything got super bright. And it felt like a short slide, and when it cleared, just a couple of seconds later, I had the wind knocked out of me, and I was able to stand up, and I was fine. My shirt was gone. It got torn off by my friend. I appreciated that. I got up and I was okay. Now what turned out had happened was I'd fractured my back, and that 3 of my vertebrae had compressed a little bit. A lot of people interrupted this part. You broke your back? And yes, I did break my back. That happened. That was a thing. The cool part about it is it was the perfect break. Nothing was out of line. Nothing was compressed in the wrong way. Like, everything was fine. Everything functioned normally. I mean, it hurt a little bit. And by a little bit, I actually mean a little bit. Like, not much. And I was back running and on the trampoline and everything else in 3 months after this. So my shirt's gone. I've got like part of it like still wrapped around, and I'm sitting there. I get up and I'm trying to figure out my way down this. It was a steep slope. I mean, do you know the amount of worse things that could happen? I could have broken my legs, I could have broken my pelvis, I could have broken whatever else, and I could have rolled down this hill. It was rocky, tons of trees and stuff jutting out, and they all seemed to be jutting towards me. So like if I had hit them, I could have gotten skewered. All this stuff that could have happened. So I got up and I tried to start walking down, and my buddy who was on the lift ahead of me hopped on his bike and sped down as fast as he could, and he got there and he was like, "Stay there! Stop moving! Like, come on, man!" They wouldn't let me hike it. The paramedics came and they put me in this big old neck brace, which was actually the worst part of it. That darn neck brace. They're like, "Okay, we gotta put this on." I was like, I promise you, my neck is not broken. Anyways, my poor mom, she got a call. I don't know if it was a call or a text. The only information that was conveyed to her was that Danny broke his back. We think he has feeling in his fingers and toes. Come right now. And that was it. That was all. She couldn't get through to everyone. We were in the mountains, so she couldn't get through cell signal, and it was a 45-minute drive. Oh my gosh. I will owe her for the rest of my life. Not just, definitely for giving birth to me, but for putting her through that. That was a moment in my life, though, that I realized, like, that was probably one of the moments in my life that defined me, in that I realized my Heavenly Father has a plan for me. He needs me here for something. He needs me to be here. He needs me to do something. He needs me to become something. And I don't know what it is. But I know I'm not going to stop till I figure it out. Until I become that. Until I realize that. And I've got all those other experiences. Again, those happened in reverse order. That should have been so much worse. All of us are here for a reason. All of us have a purpose. Any one of us could trip on the sidewalk and hit our head and be gone. Like, that could be it. It's a miracle that we're walking around every second of every day. And when it's time for us to go, it's time for us to go. When it's time for me to go, I'm going to go. There are a million ways that I can go. I'm trying to do better. I'm guessing this is not going to be the last experience like this that I have. Hopefully not this extreme, where I almost get really, really hurt or die. I'm going to screech into heaven, like smoke trailing off me. Like, whoo, what a ride! I believe that God's our literal Father and that He has a plan for each and every one of us. And that plan's not always going to be easy. But if we never attempt, we will never get the rewards. Yes, this is the hat, and it turned out it had flowers on the other side. It is a little girl's fishing hat. It actually almost didn't fit me when I tried to do that. That was my reward. Sometimes I guess the moral of this is sometimes the reward isn't what we think it's going to be, and sometimes the fall is worse than we thought it was going to be. But if we don't attempt, we won't achieve the things we want to achieve and the things we're working towards. And if we do attempt, and when we fall during those attempts, the Lord's got our back. He's going to catch us when we fall. And I'm so grateful that He's been there for me. I'm so grateful that my family's been there for me. They all showed up at the hospital when I was in that ridiculous neck brace. And finally, the doctors let me out of it a little while later once they figured out my neck wasn't actually hurt. Like I told them. But whatever. I'm not still holding on to it. You know, it's whatever. It's not. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing, commenting, reposting this video, and sharing it with your friends. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can hopefully fulfill that purpose. So I appreciate that. That helps me to achieve that dream and achieve those rewards. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.